Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Leslie presents. And now your host, Paul Leslie.
We're bringing back the magic today. We have Tim Glancey, who has a host of projects, including the Trails of Margaritaville walking tour. He's also known as Tim the Magic Magician, a well-known magician, close-up artist. And he also does the Sports Magic team, which travels on the road with Jimmy Buffett. And he's got a Key West art, and he's sat down to tell us a little bit about his world. Hello, Tim.
Good evening. How are we doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for coming on here.
Oh, anytime. It's my pleasure. I'm glad we finally got a chance to catch up in the mayhem here at Meeting of the Minds.
So tell me exactly how Sports Magic team started.
Oh, well, actually, my background is in magic. I was doing more traditional magic and corporate events, and they happened to name a basketball team in Orlando the Orlando Magic. So went knocking on their door and got designated the official magician for the Orlando Magic. And actually, we went banging on their door first and said, "Hi, I'm a magician." And they said, "Well, it's not that kind of magic." And I said, "Well, we do sports magic." And they said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Well, we'll get back to you." Because traditional magic wouldn't work, so we started coming up with the interactive games and props and the backpacks and toys, a lot of the items everybody's familiar with seeing at the tours. And from there, it just kind of grew. We started with the Orlando Magic, and now throughout basketball, baseball, hockey, anytime you see crazy guys out on the courts in jumpsuits, it's probably either inspired or one of our crews, or was, as I said, one of our crews or inspired by one of our crews. The whole idea is, well, our motto is we're the play between the plays. We try and keep the momentum going at the events, and whether that takes launching T-shirts, doing, well, you can't watch a basketball game now without seeing all the balloons behind the backboard at any sporting event. We kind of originated that in Orlando years ago, and it's just kind of fun to instigate something and see it catch on.
And a few moments ago, I was a bit mesmerized by some of the tricks you were doing. It was just, I kept looking, and I said, okay, I think I saw something. Oh, no, I didn't. So tell us a little bit about how you got into magic and how you've become known as Tim the Magic Magician.
Oh, well, I'm very fortunate. I guess magic is all I've done in one form or another, actually. I've never had a real job. That's a scary thought. No, actually, I just got interested as a teenager and kind of fell into it. So now, I mean, close-up magic and sleight of hand is still my favorite form of magic. That's what we were playing with today as we're out on the lawn here, just with a couple of friends of mine, other local magicians, just doing a bit of magic and trying to raise some money for the Hurricane Relief Fund. But actually, that's where sports magic came from as well. The impact of seeing magic live and the interaction with the crowd, all the toys and games and props we came up with were, well, it was how to capture that instead of having 5 people that could actually have the coins or cards disappear in their hand. You've got an audience of 15 or 20,000 people. How can you get them just as involved? And so all of the interactive games and interactive entertainment we have was basically based on the principles of close-up magic. And and it's led to a wide variety of venues, as you know. We've well, actually, that's where Jimmy first saw us, was the All-Star game back in Orlando. And he just saw our crews playing in the stands, and he said, "These guys are crazy. I've got this crowd on the lawn and in the parking lot that are having a show all their own." So we were initially brought out. Jimmy just liked the idea and kind of cut us loose to play, to come out and entertain the lawn people during his shows.
And I remember the first time I met you was at a bar called Hemingway's in Atlanta. And I recognized you from the Margaritaville video. I said, I know that dude from somewhere. And we just started talking. And I remember I asked you something about your first meeting with Jimmy. Could you tell us a little bit about how you met Jimmy? I know you said that he witnessed the magic and was kind of intrigued by it. So just fill us in.
Actually, the very first time was at the All-Star game. I was still doing magic, had my crews interacting in the stands. I was actually up in a skybox in the middle of a card trick, and heard that Jimmy Buffett was one of the celebrities in the crowd for the All-Star game. I think of anybody, I think he was one I would really like to meet. And one of my guys came up while I was in mid-card trick, just said, "Hey, Jimmy Buffett wants to see you." Needless to say, it was probably the quickest card trick I ever finished in my life. And about 6 cards passed out at the time. It was like, here's your card, your card, your card. See you later. Got to go. So Jimmy actually came down, met me in one of the tunnels at the arena in Orlando, and I came up and said, hey, have you seen one of my concerts? And I had to admit, I hadn't been to a Jimmy Buffett concert before. I loved his music, kind of knew and heard about the concerts and the event they were. And we just talked there, and he said, great, we've got to have you come out and try something. So we kind of chased them after that, and they said, okay, come on tour. When we first showed up, Wally and I showed up on tour, and no one else on the tour had really any clue or idea what to do with us. It was just, I don't know, Jimmy wants them here, we'll see what happens. And Jimmy's got an amazing genius for kind of planting seeds and just letting things grow, like the entire Parrot Head phenomenon. It's just, he said, well, let them go, let's see how it works out. And fortunately, we were adopted by the fans, and it kind of grew from there. So now we've, assist anywhere in the production meetings to, currently providing the entertainment with a lot of the Margaritaville restaurants that are opening up. And it's just been a wonderful opportunity to expand along with everything that they're doing.
And one of your favorite hangouts is Key West, Florida. So tell us how you ended up down here.
I've actually been down here for about 8.5 years. Well, officially, since I moved down here, but I came down for a weekend. One of the guys in my office loved diving. He came down for a weekend and said, Tim, you're touring with Jimmy. You got to come down and at least see Key West. I'd never even been here, even though I lived in Orlando since 1981. And I came down for the weekend, and next thing I knew, about 3 months later, I was living here, and it's been kind of my adopted home ever since.
And one of the newest things you brought to Key West is the Trails of Margaritaville tour, which I haven't been on yet, but I would like to see it sometime. And so tell me, what is this like?
Actually, it's great fun. The first attraction when I came down to the island, actually I got kind of caught up in the depth and the history, and we had another little venture, actually, that I got caught up in the haunted history of the island. So we had a seance theater that we opened that was a recreation of a turn-of-the-century seance, all based on the bizarre tales and history of the island. And as Meeting of the Minds came down here, we started, the stories and the history, and Jimmy is so much a part of the Key West, and Key West is so much a part of Margaritaville that for one of the conventions, we thought it would be cool to put a walking tour together and tell people some of the tales behind some of the locations and some of the locations they may not know about. And it's just kind of grown from there, and the folks at Margaritaville said, no, that sounds like fun. We need a walking tour. So it's as in-depth as the crowd needs it, or as introductory as they do. Sometime we'll have guests here. Obviously, we have the diehard Parrot Heads in town for the weekend, so I think I'm learning as much as as many stories as I'm telling. We're going to have to expand the tour. But, it's a great introduction to the island, the tour, when people come to the island and say, well, what's this Margaritaville all about? And really don't have a grasp of it. By the time we're through, they really get a feel of the Conch Republic. They get a feel of Key West and the history and the fun and energy that is kind of captured in Margaritaville wherever you go.
So how did you collect all this lore and the stories that go with the trail?
With the Trails tour, actually a lot of it was by circumstance, and a lot of it was just, being involved with Jimmy and being on tour and being an avid fan myself, to be honest with you. I mean, a lot of the stories and a lot of now of the people involved that inspired the stories are my friends. Or, then I had a friend that, called me and said, hey, by the way, I just bought a new property. This was the first house Jimmy lived in when he was down here. And then, Jimmy himself has given a couple of artifacts to, some cool items that we've been able to incorporate in the tour. But, I don't know, as I said, it's my fascination with the island, the history, and the stories behind it. And specifically, I've just been so involved with the entire Margaritaville adventure that it's always fun. And as I said, the last couple of days, anytime we get together with this many avid Parrot Heads, it's I learn as many stories as I tell. So it just turns into, because there's way too many to tell. It's a lot of fun.
Is there any part of the tour that you find everybody's, it sounds like it's the land of oohs and ahs. Ooh, ah. Everybody just says, wow, that's cool, or I didn't know that, or whatever.
It depends on the group, but there's always something, which was fun. I mean, we had a group today that are, like, again, very avid fans, have been studying the history, been coming to Key West for years and years. And, well, even we stop in Captain Tony's. They may know Captain Tony's relationship with Jimmy. They may know some of the history about Captain Tony. But then they find out about some of the history behind Captain Tony's. And that has some bizarre history in the building itself, which when next time you're sitting and having a drink at Captain Tony's, it's, you say, you know, I never knew that. And that was, so, I mean, at each location, and then some of the locations is, people either have heard of in rumor, never really stopped by, or it's just fun to be in the spot that you may have imagined, you know, the actual location that may have inspired what took place afterward.
I interviewed Captain Tony the other day, and he said, you know, I slept above that bar so many times, and I was never alone. So this might sound like a silly question, but I know there's no such thing as a silly question unless you really want to know the answer. So, Tim, do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, let's say as a magician and a performer and running a seance theater, I'm probably about the most open-minded skeptic you'll ever run into.
So how can all the listeners at home find out more about the Sports Magic team, Trails of Margaritaville, and your other projects?
Oh, actually, probably hop on. Well, we have our website's going to be under development for Sports Magic because we've got a lot of updating to do, but it's sportsmagicteam.com and trailsofmargaritaville.com for any information down here. And feel free to drop us a note, ask us a question. We'll get right back with you.
So do you have anything to say to all the people that have witnessed your magic, have gone on your tours, and are listening today?
Oh, thank you for never forcing me to actually get a real job. I've met so many amazing friends around the country, and that's why this meeting this weekend is fun, because I really get the chance to catch up with so many friends and fans. Being Jimmy's liaison to the parking lot really gave us a chance to spend time rollerblading around the parking lot or with our crazy golf carts, and I have so many wonderful people I've had an opportunity to meet around the country and get to meet them for 10 or 15 minutes once a year, every June, every August, or something like that. And I'd just like to say thank you. I hope you have as good a time as I'm having.
And thank you, Tim, for keeping the magic alive.
Anytime.